I begin with the end in mind. I start with where do I want to get to eventually? And this decision is one of the choices of the ways to get there. And understand there's an infinite way of solving things. And I think I've always solved things quite unusually to a large degree and been comfortable with that. So when you're looking at a decision, I think having that framework and being okay with making a call, and at the end of the day, it's going to go one way or the other. Most decisions fall in the spectrum of, can you rewind this easily? Or is this where you're like nailing something in the wall? You're getting a tattoo. There's a degree of, okay, I can press undo on the computer to this is a tattoo and there's a bit of a pain to get rid of this. So the ones that are less permanent, I think I wouldn't dwell too much on that. I just make a faster decision because then you'll learn fast and keep moving. And then we'll just go to the ones that are permanent. Should I take on investment in my business? Or should I sell my company? So I think with a lot of those ideas, what I try and do is model out and just think about, it sounds strange, but what are the worst things that could happen? Literally the worst things. And so now you know your downside floor. Okay, cool. Now think of the best things that could possibly happen. Okay, these are the best things that could happen. Now, it's going to fall somewhere between there, whether or not it's like, extreme or not. Given that it's somewhere in that, maybe in the middle, maybe skewed slightly to one of those directions, what is the most likely of your decisions that will lead to one of those better outcomes happening? It's really, at the end of the day, you can gather a lot of information. I speak to a lot of people in the industry. I speak to customers. I look at other businesses. Normally with your decision, it's been done before. Most decisions have been done before. And so you can go and read about it. A lot of that I've done is I've just read and seen what people have done in the past and then copied what they've done. And then you add your twist to it as well, because I think everything's a remix. I don't think there's any new ideas. They're just remixed. Just like with your decision, it's probably been done before. So if you can kind of find similar examples or similar stories, that's where I've added a lot of information to my decision. So gathering the data. The data will only take you so far. You have to use a bit of intuition. And what is intuition? Yeah. That's that feeling inside. Gut feeling, yeah. And it's just like, I think this. I use the data and mix them together to, I would call it a holistic decision. My mum always said, it's not the problems you face, it's how you deal with them. And that's what makes greatness. The bad things that happen, I immediately look for the opportunity. What is the opportunity that's created from the mistake or problem you have, and immediately go to seek that? The problems and things and the bad things you experience actually turn out to become your strengths afterwards. It's very hard to do, but it actually makes you feel calm. But immediately when something terrible's happened, something great has an opportunity to happen as well. It's strange, but over time, I don't feel things are good or bad. I feel things are just what they are. And I kind of disconnect the emotion from it. And I think the way I've done that is I've trained myself to realize that nothing's good or bad. It's just what it is. What you need to do is find your pauses. So when do you pause your mind and say to yourself, I want to try and solve this problem, and give your brain the space where there's no notifications, there's no music, there's no distractions, there's nothing going on, and you let your subconscious ponder the problem. Your conscious mind, I don't think actually comes up with that much stuff. I think your subconscious is where it's all happening. If you take yourself out of the environment that you're in and give yourself that space and that pause, that is the moment when your subconscious and yourself, you will solve that problem and you will find the opportunity and the positivity in it. How do I measure success? I'm pretty sure you could say I've achieved some success in my life, in financial means, in family means, in friendships. I would say there's some measure of success there. I think the new one, which I focus more on these days, is not so much what everyone else measures, but what do I internally want, and only me. And those things aren't necessarily what everyone else wants. And they're kind of like my private victories, what I care about. And I'm not there to celebrate them with everyone else. A lot of it will come down to just things that I set that are important to me. And you can measure yourself up for success against other people in the world. But I think you eventually get to a point where you realize that all that actually matters is what you think success is and defining that.